Hello, hello. We are live. Yes, yes. Yeah, the clock is running. Alan Cole here. First one, always. How you doing? Squishy is here. I haven't seen you before, or have I seen you? I don't know. Jim Cooper, second. TJ's new life. Jim Cooper's third, yeah. Good day. TJ from Australia. Yeah, Squishy, I haven't seen you before. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Noah Merritt is here. Hello from work. Stylely Designs. Yes, yes. Let me get my notes. I forgot my notes. Yeah, I wrote a couple of notes down. Let's see here. Stylely Designs. Mike and Sal just uploaded their unboxing videos. They were pretty happy. It made me happy. Awesome. You sent them some good obsidian, right? Tom Brown is here. Jim says, hey, I was out taking some pics for buckskin. I found a stash of amoeba flakes. They're nice, high quality raw. There you go. Yeah, I'm interested in those for sure because other people are interested in those. Yeah. I mean, I like amoeba chert for sure also. Let's see. What do we got for focus here? I got a new phone today. Yeah. Another new phone. So now, temporarily, I've got three phones. The one I'm recording the video with, because I don't know, somehow it's hooked up to YouTube. I can't get my new phone hooked up to YouTube, my second new phone. And I have another new phone, my first new one that I got about a month ago or so. So we're going to see. Hopefully, I'll be able to get this new phone hooked up to YouTube and not have to use my old one. As soon as I figure out how to transfer or to reconnect everything, I got to turn in my old phone, to trade it in. They're giving me a 30-day grace period because I have no idea what I'm doing. All right. Okay, so TJ's new life, he watched the unboxing, both those videos. All right, so the first hour I'm going to do chat. In the second hour, I'll do the Flintknapping. Okay, so if you tuned in because of Flintknapping, you got to wait till the next hour. I'm going to try to do the chat first and answer questions. So post your questions in the beginning here in the first hour. And then the next hour, I hardly ever pay attention to, or I won't be paying attention to the chat as much until the last 15 minutes. So this is the way it's going to go. First hour, I'm going to be looking at the comment section and hopefully answering questions if I can answer. And then I'll nap for 45 minutes. And then the last 15 minutes, I'll try to catch up with the chat and see if there's any further questions. Let's see. Noah Merritt says, me and my friend Alex just did 2 napping demonstrations at Dunbar Cave State Park. It was awesome. He used modern tools and I used Abo. Cool. 59 people came to the first one. We were in the cave. Where is Dunbar Cave State Park? Alan says, I think they were both pretty excited. Don't worry, Patrick. I saved you a similar box. Okay, good. Awesome. Cool. Yep. I'm excited. I got lots of obsidian now. I don't know what I'm going to do with it all, except, try to nap most of it. Right now I'm trying to catch up with back orders, right? So I may not do regular videos as often as I would normally do. I will definitely do the 3 live streams per week. But other than that, I might not do too many. Okay. Poliolit is here. Okay, that's where my notes are from. Jakob is here, and I want to say hi to Kasha, his wife, and he has a little baby. I talked to him today. Yeah. So hello. I talked to him from my new phone because now I can use the microphone on the new phone. It's not all messed up. Squishy says, what is a good starting rock? Glass. Yeah. You want to know what rock is good for starting? Any rock that naps good. How do you know what naps good? When you're new, you have to go to a nap in. And so someone will tell you, this is good and this is not good. If I tell you, oh, Georgetown, yeah, or Cornerstone, or Rainy Buttes, if I tell you these things, you're going to get a piece of crappy Georgetown. It's just your luck. You're going to get a crappy piece of Cornerstone. It's just your luck. And you're going to get a crappy piece of Rainy Buttes. And you're going to go, it didn't do it. I got the 3 stones that you said that were good for beginners, and none of them were good because I couldn't get anything from it because it didn't do it. So I can't recommend anything except glass because no matter how you find it, especially glass bottle bottoms, not clear glass, I got to make that exception. Do not nap clear glass. Anything except clear glass. And then you'll be fine. Because then it's all the same. And if it didn't do it, it's because of you and not the glass. Bob Chert 1, where can I get a copper rod like yours for indirect? From eBay. Yeah. eBay, just type in copper rod 3/8 inch. 3/8 inch marks. And then hit enter. And you'll get copper rods for sale on eBay. Get the ones that are short sections, like 12-inch sections. Don't get this big long section or a piece of copper rod that someone's charging you $50 for. It doesn't cost that much. Yeah. So I get all my copper rods from eBay. And they've got 5/16 inch diameter too. Those are the 2 diameters that I use. 5/16 inch and 3/8 inch diameter copper rods. What's that in millimeters? I don't know. And they might have that in millimeters on the website on eBay. I can tell you what the millimeters are. So some people are probably in the background going, if only I knew the millimeters. If only I knew the millimeters, then my life would be complete. Okay, well, I'll tell you the millimeters. Because sometimes that's how they're sold. Okay, the 3/8 inch is 10 millimeter. The 5/16 is 8 millimeter. Okay, so 8 millimeter and 10 millimeter. And 12 inches long. Yeah, but what's the millimeters? 12 inches is like 305 millimeters. 305 millimeters. Yeah. See? 1 foot. That's 305 millimeters, right? I hope. Yeah. Just get yourself one of these tape measures that has both millimeters and inches, and you'll be like, wow, I didn't know that they made these. This is so awesome. Yeah. All right. Okay, let me see what I missed. I'm trying to focus on the chat in the first hour, okay? Mm-hmm. Jim says, something satisfying to me about reducing some of the weirdest shapes in nature into a uniform blade. Yes, yes. So Poliolit is from Poland. His name is Jakob. Bill Taylor says, hello, everybody. Glad I could make it. I'm glad you could make it. Yeah, I'm glad you could make it. Let's see. I hope I answered your question, Squishy, about starting rock. Whatever nap's good. That's a good starting rock. Bushy for a while is here. You're early. Was she? Yeah, cool. Jesse says, hello. Hi, guys. Hello, Patrick. Fordo Joe, send rocks. Send rocks to who? Noah Merritt. Cave is in Clarksville, Tennessee. Okay, Tennessee. I met someone who has access to 20,000 acres that gave me permission to hunt for arrowheads. Oh, dang. That's a lot of acres. I guess we'll see you later. You know, we'll see you in the next life because you're going to be searching those acres for now until forever. Until you go to the acreage in the sky, I suppose. Then you can look for even more arrowheads. Let's see. The whole family's watching. Okay, so Kasha's watching. The baby's watching. I'm sorry, I forgot your little baby's name already. I'm getting old. Let's see. Prairie Ghost Ken. Morning, Pat and chat. I was just watching you with my breakfast. Great timing. Got the day off to play with some rocks and glass. Awesome. Ken says he ordered a 5/8 rod off of Amazon too. Okay, so you can get them off of Amazon. Alan says, thanks, Bill. Mike's box was handled. Okay. Ken says, make sure you get something 5/8 and bigger. I bought a tiny one first. It was a disappointment. So, okay, 5/8. Something smaller than 5/8 is too weak to use for indirect percussion off of Amazon, because the ones I get off of eBay are pretty good. Noah says, Prairie Ghost Ken, I saw your post on Reddit about learning to nap. I was the guy with the turtleback flake. How is your journey going? Yeah. Jim Cooper, I know I have a horrid luck with whenever I travel. I hate. Okay, let me start over here. I can't read. Jim says, I know I have horrid luck with whenever I travel when I must. I hate traveling. I usually only do it with family. I always seem to miss the nap-in or primitive skills gathering by about a week or two. That's not good. Poliolit says, hey, Patrick, I saw a video where a guy melted bottles in a microwave inside some device, and it melted and it was star-shaped. Good for arrows. Yeah, it works. I just need to try it myself. Zapador, 1986. Hola, Patrick. Hola. Todos desde España. We got people from Spain in the house. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Let's see. Okay, someone mentioned 5/8 the other day. Yeah, 5/8 inch diameter copper rod is pretty big. It's pretty substantial. I wouldn't get one like that. 8 millimeter or 10 millimeter. Okay. Jim says, I really got to get my kiln set up and mold for percussion slabs. I would be set then. There you go. Ed Gould is here. Hello. Ralph Snyder's here. Hello. Alan Cole. No, Patrick, it's 8-inch. I don't know what that means. I'm going to pretend I don't know what that means. Ken says he found some granite hammerstones and taconite jasper at the river last night. What's taconite jasper? So, just something fancy to put in your aquarium? Is it nappable? Yeah. And how nappable is it on a scale of 1 to 10? Does it need heat? That's the information we want to know. Inquiring minds want to know not the name of the chert or jasper. We want to know if it naps. Do you have any available for free? Does it need heat? What color is it? Can you get it at a Knapping? Are you going to be at a Knapping with some of your Taconite? That's what we want to know. We don't want to really know the name. We just want to go, hey, you got some of that good Jasper? Good. What's it on the scale of 1 to 10 as far as nappability? The name means nothing. Like I can tell someone that Rainy Butte's material is good for napping and for beginners too. And it varies between crappy and really, really good. So, and most of the time when I recommend something, the person gets a really crappy piece because they don't want to spend a ton of money on it, or they get it for free, or if someone gives it to them and says, yeah, I got some of that. Here, you can have this piece. Bushy says, Patrick, I was looking for Onondaga today, but I found a vein of bright cobalt blue in limestone, 1 inch wide and 3 inches long with an 8-inch smaller tail. What the heck is it? It's cobalt blue. You got to take it out and see if it naps. Then you can say it's good, nappable cobalt blue, whatever. Rock. Yeah. Good cobalt blue rock for napping. I don't need to know what it's called. Let's see. Brennan says, howdy. Brennan, go forth comedy. Everyone say hi to everybody. Yes, yes. Poliolit says, if you are researching or searching for napping obsidian, try Chinese stores. I don't know about sending to us nowadays. Also, lots of copper rods. Yeah, you can get, I just found out today, you can get obsidian from China. Maybe that's where people are getting it, from in the rock shops. They're ordering it from China. JF Baird is here. Hello, hello. Noah says taco night. Today is taco night? Oh, taco church. I don't know. Noah says, I bought three large pieces of Georgetown at $20 each the other day for the demos. Did they work out okay? Ken says, haha, we have a ton of jasper here on Van Isle and Chert, just lying by the rivers. The jasper was very hard to flake, but beautiful. When I Googled the material, a lot of napping info came up. Well, there you go. But you need to know if it naps or not. That's what I would be focused on. Let's see. Ken says, planning to make the Vancouver nap in when I can find the date. I think my friend Ryan Gunther is hosting it. Gothier. Ryan Gothier. Okay. Yeah, let me know immediately. I posted a post on the Canadian nap in let's see, Alberta, Canada. Right? Did you see it? If not, I have a notes on it, I think. No? Yeah. It's called the annual Whoop Up Napping. It's Canadian. Yeah. Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. And those are the coordinates. I don't know if they work. August 28th to September 1st. Register at such and such, or you can call those two numbers to register. It was posted by Puget Sound Nappers. Did you get it? No, I didn't see it. You took it away exactly when I wanted to see it. Okay, so there it is. You can take a little screenshot with your phone if you're watching on TV or whatever you need to do. If you're in Alberta, right? That's what AB means. I'm hoping. I'm pretty sure. I ship to Canada, and I should know these things. If anyone needs help shipping to foreign countries, I'll let you know if I can give you some tips or pointers on filling out the customs forms. You got to be accurate on the customs forms, but sometimes even the post office doesn't know what you're talking about. Like, what's chert? Okay, so you can put lapidary stones instead of like chert stones. They know what flint is, but then they think, is that a component for lighters? Are you sparking something with this stuff? So I just put either chert or lapidary stone. So they're not going, flint. Is this part of a firearm? Is it gun flints? they get all kind of, so you got to accurately fill out the customs forms, but you can't be making them think that, well, maybe it's hazardous when it's not. The stuff we ship is not hazardous. Let's see. Where am I on the chat? I lost my place, and this thing doesn't help. Noah says, I'm taking my lunch break so I can be chatty, but in a few, I'll be just lurking with my headphones. Good. Patrick, Ross Wellman may want to get a hold of me. If he asks you, you can give him my email. Okay. Alan Cole gives permission to have email given to Ross. Okay. Alan Cole gives permission to give email to Ross Wellman. Anybody else while I'm trying to write notes? And to everybody. I'm going to end up giving your email to everybody, Alan. That's your door prize. Your door prize is your email address is going to be given to everybody. I would not do that to you, no. Krylanite point. Ferdo Joe says, Ken, did I send you a pic of my Krylanite point? What is Krylanite? Okay, the nodules of Georgetown work great, but the price was the painful part. Yeah, it usually is. Mike Tufts is here. Hello. Mike Tufts is in the house. Yes. I'm going to start napping in the second hour. Okay. We still got a bunch of time to chat. Please ask your questions in the first half of the live streams. If you're new, most of the people that are lurking are new. Yeah. So if you have questions, go ahead and do it first hour, because I won't be paying much attention in the second hour. Ken says, did you post it here on YouTube, Pat, or do you have other social media I can follow? Did I post what? And I have other social media, but don't follow me there because I never check it. I've got a Facebook page, right? I've got an Instagram page or whatever they call it. I used to be on other formats. I think some of my stuff is still on, Odyssey or something, but YouTube is where I hang out, and Jack Crafty in particular. I have 2 other channels, but I never check those. If I start checking everything, I never have time for anything else. Why does it take me so long to check? I don't know. Like, see how slow I am at reading the chat? And I'm trying to go as fast as possible. Yeah. You can imagine how much of a time I have trying to check all my accounts for messages. So if you message me on something else, like Instagram or Facebook or something else, I may not ever get to it. Or it maybe take me months. So what did I post here, Ken? You got to tell me. Yeah, I posted the Canadian Knapping here on YouTube as a post. They allow you to upload a photograph, and then you can put text and say, this is a post or whatever. And then, you hit it. It's just like something on my channel. And I guess you can zoom in so you can see all the details, just like you can zoom in on a video. I need to check it, but I think you might be able to do that because it's very fine print. If you just take a picture of it from the screen, it's extremely fine print. But I'm pretty sure you can click on it and then zoom in. and then take notes. Jesse says, too many amigos on here to say hi. So I say hi to all my buddies. Jesse. Let's see. When I slip a knife, I just tell the PO it's a tool. Oh, when they ship a knife. Yeah. When you ship something with a stone blade, I always put for display, because that's what most people use these things for displays. So I put that on there, and they usually don't have an issue unless they go, what's flint or what's obsidian? I think I know what obsidian is. What you know, so you have to clarify it for the post office guys. They have a hard time trying to figure out what it's classified as when you ship overseas. They have a list, and they gotta see what you wrote and go, okay, I understand what that is. And then look on their list and try to put it in the category. One time I sat at the post office for like 10 minutes. We were trying to figure out, okay, where does this go? Does it go in the art? Does it go in the jewelry? Does it go in the collectibles? Does it go in the arts and crafts or like traditional crafts? Where does it go? Because if you put it here, you might get, there's an extra charge to send it to the country that you're wanting to send it to, because they have an import duty on jewelry, let's say. So let's not put it in that category, because can it be art? Yeah, and a lot of times we'll look around to see where it fits best. If you put knife, make sure it's for display, okay? Because that's what it's used for in most cases. Noah says, feel free to send links to your napping videos. Yeah, in the comment section. If we see Red Eyed Patriot, he can post links. He'll look up your website or your YouTube page. I could do that too. I could sit here and look up stuff and then type it in. I'm pretty sure I can type in links as well. I might start doing that in the first half of these live streams. That way you can do shameless plugs. Yeah. So if I nap an arrowhead and send it overseas, if it can be used as a pendant, then I just put arrowhead pendant. If it's for display, like in a case, I put arrowhead for display. If it's if they're going to use it for hunting or something like that, I got to check with the post office and see if that's a legal category for that country. If not, I can't send it. If that's what if that's what it's going to be used for, make sure you can use it for that in your country that I'm sending it to. Okay. Alan says, Patrick, you're not supposed to talk smack to me. Yeah. Oh, well, I don't play favorites. I will talk smack. Jim says, I have a question about overshot technology. Yeah. Always. Why do you do that? I just saw something about overshots again. If you ask the internet loves overshots. If you have AI, right, and you're asking the AI about overshot technology and stuff, it'll give you the internet answer. The internet answer is not good. Smallzilla's here. Harley's here. Smallzilla is in the house. Ed Gould says, but the video chat that works great, real time, face to face. Yeah, I mean, this works pretty good. Alan says, Patrick, Sal tried to fight a piece of boomerang obsidian again. You'll have to watch the unboxing. Okay. Yeah, boomerang obsidian. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. Mike says, you better be you better be in here. I'm making you some boppers right now. Red Eye, where's Red Eye? Yeah, where'd he go? No word from Keith. I'm hoping he's on vacation. I see. Yeah, where'd Keith go? Mr. Marbles. Jesse says, someone asked about how to start with just waste flakes or debitage in the last live. I advised Pat has some great videos making bird points or arrowheads from small flakes. I also recently posted. Cool, cool. Hey, Mary is in the house. Smallzilla says, Mike, haven't seen anything yet, but I'll be sure to check today after work. Let's see. Jim says, I do it because I care, Patrick. It's when I don't tease that something is wrong. Oh, dang. All right. So bring it. Yeah. Let's bring the smack talking. Ralph says, Bushy, I think fluorite or chlorite is the exotic material that they use for making banner stones. I don't know. Yeah, Mary says, I log in and you're talking about overshots. It can't be good. No, just your luck. No. I normally don't talk about those. Yeah. Mike Tuff says, I'll look for the shipping receipt and check the tracking, Harley. You should have gotten it. Okay, so we're talking about shipping packages. Does anyone want me to do a video on how to package these stones and stuff? Because I'm noticing a lot of new people with new rocks available. They want to sell rocks and they're new, but they don't know how to ship the rocks. I'll just do it anyway. I don't care if you say, no, I don't want to see them. I'm sick of seeing shipping videos because I just watched 4 of them today. I'm not listening to that. I'm just going to do it anyway because I want everyone to receive stones in good shape. Oh, and talking about receiving, where did it go? I had it ready. I received some rods, some copper rods today. Oh, come on. This is what I get for not standing up. All right, here we go. Okay. Ready? I'm ready. You're ready? Okay, so I got from Aaron Wilson. I got some copper rods that have been milled down. Yeah. So I've got 4 different diameters. Now, this is a gift. You can't order these. So I suppose this one's 5/16 and this is a quarter. And then I got 3/8 here. And then, what is that, 5/16 also? Yeah. Looks like 2 5/16 and then you got 3/8 and 1/4. So I'll be able to use these different rods sizes without having to have a lot of different rods. It's half and half. Yeah. And I use the 3/8 quite a bit. So this is excellent. All right. So yeah, this is 3/8 or 5/16. I use 5/16 quite a bit as well as 3/8. I think I use 3/8 more than anything else. Right? Is that what that is? Let's see. Let's compare. Yeah. All right. So I was excited and I had to make sure I kept the shipping address because I get mixed up with people's names. So Aaron Wilson sent me that. Thank you, Aaron. Let's see. Jim Cooper said, did you find my packing method suitable? I didn't see any breakage or loose flakes when you opened my box. Yeah, you. As far as I know, it was good, except some of the bifaces were broken. That was it. So, because the post office, it drops it at least once, and probably from a moving vehicle. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the post office guys just put the heavy stuff near the door so they don't have to go inside the truck very far and they'll go over a bump on the road, and the box will fall out of the truck and tumble a couple times, and they go, "Oh well, no, who's gonna know? Who's gonna know? It wasn't me who dropped it. It must have fallen out of the airplane." Yeah, I don't know. That's what it seems like. If anyone works for the post office, I'm kidding. Okay, I get 99% of my stuff is good. I get it on time, and the stuff I sent out is sent out on time and in good condition. Okay, don't get mad. Let's see. Alan, you're going on vacation? Let's see. Yes, do a shipping video, says Mary. All right, there you go. All I need is one upvote, but I was going to do it anyway. But yeah, having an upvote, yeah, makes it even better. Jesse, is that a super chat? I think I see your face. Yes, that's Jesse. Thank you. Awesome. Let's reply to Jesse. If I don't reply on these super chats right away, it goes, "Sorry, you can't do it. Time expired." All right, so let's see. Let's just do. Oops. If I can spell, that'd be good too. And spell checker doesn't help any. Yeah. Everyone say thanks to Jesse. Yeah, believe it or not, this is the funny part. I could have a video that has thousands of views, but it doesn't make that much money compared to the super chats I get for the live streams. Yeah. So this is actually, with super chats, this actually generates more revenue. I'm amazed. I could get 10,000 views on a video, and I don't make as much as the average amount of super chats that I get on these videos. I can get like $30 for a video that gets 10,000 views. It's like $30 or something. I don't know if I keep all that. That's just what YouTube says I get. One of these days I'll figure out the math. How much does YouTube get out of whatever? Let's see. So yes, I found your shipping methods very suitable, Jim. Uri Kurtz. Is that 10 euros? Thank you. Super chat from Yuri. How do you pronounce your name, by the way? Yeah, I'm always afraid I'm going to pronounce people's names wrong, because I usually do. Yeah. Let's see. Ken, I sent you an email about shipping to Canada, says Mike. Okay, good. Let's do shipping videos to Canada, says Mike Tufts. Yeah, let's do that. I ship quite a bit to Canada, and what I like to do is I like to have lots of room in the packaging. I've learned over time to make sure the box is bigger than what you need, and you stuff it full of padding. It doesn't need to be all that big, right? But the more padding you have around the box, the better if you send the box. Now you can also send those bubble wrap envelopes. So you can put a smaller box in a bubble wrap envelope, and the bubble wrap on the envelope cushions it also. But for obsidian, if I send obsidian overseas, sometimes I use a wooden box or a cigar box. So there's no flex at all. Okay, and then the usual amount of extra padding. Hey, I have another super chat. Ken, $5. Canadian. Awesome. Thank you. So, okay. I probably knew this. I didn't know you were from Canada. Thanks for all the great advice, Pat. Oh, you're welcome. Um, what else can I say about shipping to Canada besides lots of padding? Make sure you have lots of padding. Um, just first class international. I always ship from the post office using first class international, and you got to fill out a customs form, but they're pretty easy. Yeah. I always put my phone number in on both sides. One with the shipper's information and then the exporter's phone number. And I always return to sender. If there is a problem sending it, I always put return to sender. There's a little box you can check. There's two halves of the customs form. The left-hand side is where you put names and addresses, and the items down at the bottom, what's in the package. And then the other side is just exporter's info, and then sign and date. But just before you sign and date it, you got to specify: do you want it? Do you want the package returned to sender or whatever? There's some more. Wait, I'll get that customs form. Let's see. I can do this without guessing. And shipping to Canada is very much like shipping to other countries that are English speaking or Northern European. Very similar. So you got the customs form. It says here on this side, this is where you list your items. It asks, is it a document or a gift or commercial samples or return goods or merchandise or humanitarian donations or dangerous goods? I always put merchandise. And if it's both gift and merchandise, I check both gift and merchandise. If I add extra stuff in the package, I'll just check both of those boxes, gift and merchandise. Okay. Well, you can also just do gifts if you're just sending a box as a gift, right? And then on this side, on this side, it'll have just above where you sign and date. It asks, is it restrictions, quarantine, sanitary? You don't click into those at all. Non-delivery instructions, check one of them. Return to sender or treat as abandoned. I always check return to sender because I don't want it to be abandoned. No. I'll pay the extra shipping to have it sent back to me. I want to see what condition the box is in. Somebody gave me another super chat. Alan Cole, $10. Let's break some records with more donations for the Master Napper. Awesome. Thank you. I talked smack to Alan and he still gives me a super chat. How awesome is that? That's pretty awesome. Thank you. Let's see. Jesse says, Prairie Ghost Ken, thanks for joining our weekly discussions on Pat's Lives. It's been a pleasure having you on here. Yes. Ed Gould says, hey, there's a way of using that expanding spray foam and 2 layers of plastic to keep it from sticking to items and separating easier. Oh, yeah. That's a shipping method where, let's say you want to ship something delicate and it's very weird, or it's a big rock with it's all lumpy. What they do in some areas or some shipping departments, I think China, you can see these on video. Anyway, what you do is you get your box, tape up the bottom like normal, and then you get a piece of plastic ready it's bigger than the area of the box. Just a piece of plastic. You can cut a piece of plastic or use a plastic bag. Just to unfold the plastic bag and get ready, and then spray foam the bottom of the box, and the foam starts going zzz. You put the plastic on top of that foam and then stick your object in there, and the foam will zzz. And hopefully you didn't overdo it, and the foam only goes up like halfway around the object, and then you keep your hands on the plastic to keep it under control, and then it'll stop, and then you wait until it gets hardened a little bit, and then you stick another piece of plastic on top of your object and on top of the previous expanded foam, plastic supported stuff, whatever, and then you spray the top of it with expanding foam, and it'll start expanding, and then you wrap the plastic up around it. It's already underneath. You wrap it over the top, and you close the box up, and you hold it. And hopefully you didn't overdo it with the foam so it doesn't start coming out everywhere. And you hold it and wait till it gets hardened. I guess it just takes a minute or two. And you open it up, and then you can, if you want to check, you just take the whole top part off with, it's a big block of expanded foam. It should already be firm. And there's your object down in there. And it's a perfect mold for your object. You know what I mean? You can look it up on YouTube. I did that long explanation because it's a pretty cool way to ship it. I've never done it that way because I'm a spaz. I'll put too much foam, too much spray foam the first few times, and then I'll ruin everything. And they'll get discouraged and go, "That's $10 of foam, and I just ruined a bunch of stuff because I overdid it, and now I have to, clean up my items that I messed up on because I punctured the plastic and yeah." With me, I'll have to spend a ton of money just trying to get good at that. Hold on, wait a second here. Is this another super chat? Yuri, $20, 20 euros. Again, Yuri, thank you. Who's next, he says. Who's next? Mike says, Patrick, we need someone to give you some rubles next. Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah. This is funny. Okay. Mike Tufts gave me a $5 super chat. Outstanding. Everybody's outstanding here. Yes. I mean, the super chatters are getting claps, let's say, from people in the chat, which is cool. Right? Fist bumps and claps and hearts and all that. Awesome. Let's see. Very generous. Yes. Ken says, I've learned so much from Pat's videos and enjoy these lives a lot. Well, I'm glad you do. Thank you. That makes me feel much better because I don't want to be wasting my time. Yeah. Wait a second. What did I miss? Okay, so I got to keep track of the time. 15 minutes, I'll start napping. Mike says, I'm eating this up about the spray foam. I love new tricks. Yeah, look it up on YouTube. It's a lot better than what I can explain. If you're good at using spray foam, your packaging is much easier, especially with heavy duty stuff. Heavy duty? Yeah, heavy duty. Ralph says, the old spray foam shipping trick, I've used it for shipping SLA 3D printed models at work. There you go. Jesse says, sorry, I forgot to mention my donations are in pesos. So not as good as you think. No, I can tell if it's pesos. Yeah. How much is it these days in the exchange rate? 20 pesos per dollar like it used to be? Jim Cooper, $5. Well, that's good cause. I didn't send you any bypasses. My box was all the food boxes and newspapers, sugar-free, Flint, remember? Yeah, I remember. That's fun. It still works, though. Ken is a member now. Prairie Ghost Ken now has a membership. Awesome. Yeah, memberships also are more... memberships are more reliable than revenue from regular videos. Yeah. Much more reliable. See, I don't know if a video is going to go to like 500 or 5,000 as far as views go. I have no idea. I try to make videos based on requests, and some of the videos are very, very popular, and some of them, yeah. And the videos that have a lot of good information, some of them People not interested. Maybe because I said something wrong and they said, unsubscribe, unsubscribe. Yeah, maybe I was smack talking the overshots and they go, no, unsubscribe. If you do unsubscribe because of that, yeah, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Yeah. I gotta try that spray foam shipping method one of these days. But yeah, I've actually bought wooden boxes just for shipping. I will show you. They're not that expensive. Believe it or not. It's like maybe $1.50 for this. You can buy them on Amazon, but you got to spend money on several of these to get a good deal per box. But yeah, if you have something extremely delicate like obsidian points that have very sharp barbs and points, I shipped them in something like this. What's the size? I'm going to get some bigger ones too, just in case. I like to have them on hand so I'm not scrambling. So it's 6 by 2¼ by 4 inches. 6 by 2 by 4. I think that's how they sell them on Amazon. And they come in handy. Yeah. Not only for shipping, but when the customer gets it, they go, hey, I can use that for something else. Yeah. I can keep my, my favorite tobacco in here. Yeah. Cool. Let's see. Is Danny in the house? Danny Collins is in the house. Hey, Brendan, I'm working on getting those bifaces listed now. Okay, we're talking about bifaces. I missed it. It's 1,000 pesos per dollar now? Holy moly. I got to look that up. Yeah. I'll believe it, but no. It used to be like 20 pesos per dollar. I'm curious. Okay, I'm going to take a little detour here. What's going on? Oh, this is my new phone. Yeah, that's what's going on. Open. Yes, open the tabs. Dum-dums. What is the current peso dollar exchange rate? Yeah, there it is. Where is it? No, that's. Are you going to give me a good answer here? Okay, so it's 18.77 pesos to the dollar, which is, that's actually better for people in Mexico buying American stuff. Yeah. Not for American buying Mexican stuff. Because it doesn't go as far. It used to be 20. Last time I went to Mexico, it was like 20 point something. There's not much difference. Let's see. Ken says, sorry to ask this again, Pat. When you mentioned Vancouver, did you mean the Lethbridge Knapping, or is there two? I meant the Lethbridge because I thought it was going to be Vancouver, but it turns out it wasn't. Or British Columbia. It turns out it's in Alberta. Yeah. I in my head, somebody told me about maybe a group in Vancouver that I might have gotten it mixed up. I think there may be actually a napping group in Vancouver, but I don't know if they have nap-ins. So I meant Lethbridge. Yeah. Danny says, hey, Brennan, I'm working on getting, okay. So Anthony Mummert is lurking. He's one of the lurkers because I've never seen you in the chat before. Gotcha. Jim says, I'll be curious to see you use that petrified wood and opal out of my box next. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I looked up the Canadian Knapping info. So use petrified wood and opal from Jim Cooper's box, right? Jim Cooper. Yeah. I don't know why I get you mixed up with Bill Taylor. Yeah. Is Bill in the house? Let's see. I don't think so. So yeah, I'm curious to see what that does too. I'm curious to see how that petrified wood works out. Yeah. And the opal. Although I haven't napped opal before, I'd like to see what this one does. If it's more delicate than the other stuff. Let's see. Okay, so you're talking about stylish designs. Yes, Lethbridge. Everyone say hi to Danny. Yes. Danny Collins is one of the supporters of the channel. He sent me several gifts. Yeah. Always excellent stuff. If you want to buy rocks, look at Danny Collins' website. Flintknappingtraditions.com. Traditions with an S. Flintknappingtraditions with an S.com. I could write it in the chat, right? Let's see if this works. Can I do it? Do I have the let's see if it just works if I do just that. Flintknapping traditions. Let's see if it works if I just do that. Make sure I spell it right and make sure that spell checker doesn't mess it up. Let's see if that works. Go to the end of the chat. It does. I can see it. Is it relation to Elliot Collins from Go Napping? Oh, I don't know. I don't think Danny is related to Elliot Collins. Jim says the petrified wood is very nice, and so is the opal. This opal is less gravelly than the other opal. Still very delicate, but has a more stable structure. I see. Wait, let me go back. I missed some of the chat here. Jim Goodman is here. Hello, Chatterhouse. Danny says, Jesse, I've got nice big nodules of Buffalo River fresh out of the kiln. Awesome. Anthony Mummert says it's 1,000 old pesos to the 1 new peso. Okay, that makes sense. Hey, Marty's here. Buckskin NYB. He made it. This was 5 minutes ago. Okay. I don't need this right now. Let's see. Well, I might need it because I'm going to take notes. Right? Yeah. Never know when I'll need my glasses because I was reading the customs form for shipping. If anyone wants help on that, I'm already going to do a video on this kind of stuff. But some people want to know specifically, like, how do I fill out where it's going? That's where I have trouble. Where it's going. I get all messed up. Well, the post office understands that too. That a lot of times as Americans, we don't know what to put in these different categories here. We'll put the city in the province box and the province in the city box, for instance. And the postal code will get it wrong because it may be just part of the address, like the apartment number or something. We'll get that wrong, or the street number. We won't know the postal code because it's got letters in it. Like in Canada, you guys put letters in your postal codes. At first, I'm going, what? Why can't you just do numbers? Why? Has to be letters mixed in? It's not a code. Anyway, different countries have different formats. Some countries look just like a United States address. I think Italy, or I can't remember who. One of these countries is like, am I sure this is correct? Because it looks just like a United States address. Anyway, everything's good. They will help you at the post office if the attendant is experienced. Sometimes they're not. Yeah, that's the only problem. Yoon Chang says hello. I'm behind on the chat by about 7 minutes, but Yoon, good to see you. Good to see you. I need to send out all tracking numbers. I haven't sent you everyone that you're going to get your tracking numbers in the emails today. Yeah, I forgot to send those out. Let's see. And with Yoon, I try to communicate with him through PayPal because the email, I guess he doesn't have an email address or something. Anyway, let's see. Buckskin NYB is walking the lake and collecting Knife River Flint right now. Marty, you're collecting it right now? Awesome. Jim Main is driving and lurking. Cool. Alan says old peso versus new peso could use defining. Old dollar to new dollar is exactly the same. Yeah. I'm not sure exactly what the old peso deal is either, but it doesn't matter. Let's see. Anthony Mummert says you must be mistaken because I've been in the chat many times. I just haven't been in recently. Okay, I've been following you for like past 13 years. Okay, sorry about that. I just didn't remember seeing you in the chat. Anthony, sorry about that. Mary says opal has the same hardness as glass. Yeah, but it does shatter like glass, but it shatters like fusible glass. You guys have used fusible glass, right? The kind that you can heat up and they'll fuse together easily. That is very delicate. That naps like opal, the fusible glass. What's the difference? I don't know. I'm trying to give you a name here of what it is. Bottle bottom glass is the best as far as quality and consistency. Bottle bottom glass. Fusible glass has a tendency to snap in half a lot, in my experience. And if it's tempered glass, like casserole dishes or glass plates or anything that is supposed to be rugged, made of glass, it's tempered. That stuff sometimes doesn't nap well at all. It'll break it into little chunks. But there's varying degrees of tempering. Some tempered glass is excellent, but if they temper it too much, it shatters into little blocks. But it's good for what they are using it for. Like if you try to nap a car windshield, that's tempered glass. It's going to break into little blocks. So you don't want that. You don't want to nap car windshield. So you know what I mean. See, Jesse asks, anyone know why on my phone I can click on someone's comment to respond to them and show their name? I only see report when I click on the name and definitely don't want to do that. Anthony says, if you remember, I was the one that was talking about getting obsidian in my eye last time we were talking. Oh, okay. I remember now. Yeah. So yeah, my mind is slipping. Let's see. Where am I? I'm not too far back. I'm not too far behind. I'm going to start napping here. It's already time for me to start napping. Okay. Smallzilla says, I can't cheat on Patrick, but a peach pit Clovis would be cool to see. Yeah. I got to nap one of those anyways. How about glass jars? Asks Ken. If it's a clear glass jar, I don't recommend it. If it's kind of bluish or greenish, good. But if it's clear glass jar, it doesn't work that well. I mean, I've napped the bottoms of pickle jars, and some pickle jars are very large and they got a real thick glass bottom, but it's clear and it's tempered in a weird way. Same with clear liquor bottles. For some reason, the clear glass is tempered in a way that makes you miserable when napping it. It's the glass, it's not you. Okay, if you're napping clear glass from a bottle bottom and you're feeling miserable, it's not you, it's the glass. And usually that's from like pickle jars or liquor bottles. Ed says, Danny, have you ever collected the sludge off the saws and let it set up? What saws? Earlier, Ed said, I found some blocks I made of the... Okay, so I had to reconnect. We lost the reception for a second there. So instead of starting a new live stream, I just hit the reconnect button. And hopefully it works. I see the clock ticking, but I don't see any more chat. Are we okay? You still hear me? Yeah. Okay, so Mary asked a question here. Question, how important is it to coincide rock to the point style? How important is it to match up the rock with the point style? It depends on what you want to do. Obviously, if you want to reproduce a point, do a reproduction, you should use the stone that that the original used, the original napper. But in general, how important is it to match up the type of stone to the type of work that you want to do? I would say it's on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most important, I'd say it's about a 7. It's not all that important, but it's not insignificant. Because if you want to make a nice, long, thin point, you don't want to use a nasty material. You want to use the best material possible. So, but you can still make long, thin points out of material that's not that great. So that's why I put the importance at about a 7. 7 or 8 as far as how important it is to match up the stone with what you have in mind. It is a good question, yeah. Let's see. Jesse says, I think personally it's rewarding to replicate point styles in stone that they're commonly made from. Yeah, same here. And if I know I've seen an artifact made of some certain jasper or chert, I'll try to use that same jasper or chert just to see if I can do it and see if they had a lot of trouble with it back in the day. Ken says, thanks for the tip on the color, Pat. I steer clear of clear glass. I have some green, brown, and blue glass I collected this week to try after the live. There you go. Yeah, we're back. So I clicked on the reconnect on the live stream after it went and it says, sorry, oops, snap. YouTube puts up this notice across my screen that says, oops, snap. Let's see. Harley asks, anyone going to the Hairy Mosquito Nap-In? 21287 US Highway 169, Malacca, Minnesota is the address. It goes for 2 days. Hairy Mosquito. I think I've got that one already. Minnesota? Yeah. It's in July. It's coming up quick. Hairy Mosquito Trading Company, 21287. U.S. Highway 169, Malacca, Minnesota, 56353. That's a number to contact. July 12th through 13th, 2025. Okay. Wait, I didn't write it down. Just take a screenshot or use your phone camera to take a picture when I put it up on the screen. Or pause the video. Jim says, I haven't had the same problems with clear glass as Patrick. So some people don't have a problem with it. But me, when I nap clear glass from certain bottles and certain things, it's miserable for me. Yeah. Mike Mason says, I have amber glass jar bottoms. They should be okay. Jesse says, I haven't had much trouble with clear glass, but my eyes are bad, so if I can't see the scar pattern well or the low spots, I'm not going to nap it as well as I forgot people seeing what's going on video. I don't know. I don't have problems. I don't have too much difficulty with seeing, except the edge. I do have trouble seeing the edge on clear glass. Okay, some of that obsidian Alan sent looks like Scottish pitch stone, says Ralph. Interesting. Yeah, why? I'm thinking, why would I have problems with clear glass when other guys, or Jim doesn't? I don't know. Every time I've tried to nap clear glass, it gives me this weird nails on a chalkboard feeling. It has that weird feel to it, and it tends to resist the flaking. Some materials give me that fingernails on the chalkboard feeling in my teeth when I'm napping. Some of the agates and clear glass, some of the clear glass, not all of it. I've napped some clear glass, like TV glass, that is pretty good. What other clear glass have I napped that's pretty good? I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I have napped some really thick pickle jar bottoms, really thick stuff that wasn't too bad. But I still get that weird fingernails on the chalkboard type feeling from that glass. And this has to do with the temper. Okay, so I'm going to start napping. What do I got? I've got material from Parker Southgate that I received probably years ago. I think it's either Cobden or Fort Payne shirt, something like that. But, you know me, I don't care what it's called, and because two reasons. One, I can't remember, and number two, it may not be what you have. It might look exactly like this, and I'll nap it, and I'll say it's great, but you'll get it, and you'll go, it didn't do it. You'll get it, and you'll say it didn't do it, and you'll let me know that it didn't do it. Okay, so it doesn't really matter what it's called. As long as it naps good, this should nap well. It should. All right. So if you have a question in the chat, I might not see it. Let's see. Anthony says, one thing that I've done when I not clear glass, it should be when I nap clear glass, is I'll take a permanent marker and I'll write on the glass so that I can see where I'm napping and take a flake off the area that I've marked. That sounds okay. Smallzilla says, question, Patrick, since the napping in Minnesota would be my first, what's the procedure? Show up with a tarp and rock and sit with the coolest looking dudes? No, just bring all your stuff and bring more than you think you might need, plus some extra cash, at least $200. And then don't set up right away. Just walk up to the nap-in and look around. And then you might see somebody or somebody might say, if you'll get a name tag. If they don't issue a name tag when you walk up to the nap-in, sometimes you'll see a registration table. If they don't have one of those, or if you walk around and people are not wearing name tags, um, put a name tag on yourself anyway. If they already have name tags, go find the registration table and get yourself a name tag. That's the first thing. Get a name tag or put one on yourself. And then someone can say, hey, I know who you are. And then you can strike up a conversation, and then you can maybe sit down next to them. That's one way. Another way is you can sit in your car and get your binoculars. Have I seen that before? Well, no, but I've seen some people sit there with their phone and they're filming, and they're not talking to anybody. They're just filming. And I think what they're doing is they're going, I'm at a nap-in and I feel isolated. Who knows, right? But yeah, bring all your stuff plus a little bit of extra rock for yourself, more than you can nap in a weekend, and just walk into the nap-in and see what's going on. And then you can figure out from there. Let's see. Jim says, sounds like an autistic sensory problem that could be subtly changing your napping if that feedback is happening in your brain. That is possible, that certain types of glass, or maybe it's even the color or whatever, or lack of color. Yeah, it's an autistic sensory overload or sensory type issue that gives me the EBGBs when I'm napping it, right? I don't know how else to describe it. Let's see. Jesse says, I have a mental thing with clear glass too. I cut myself real bad one time years ago, and now it bothers me to nap it. No issues with root beer color or blue or green. It creeps me out, so I get it. Yeah. I've never had a bad cut with clear. My worst cuts have been with Chert and Flint. Even all the obsidian that I've napped, I've never really cut myself badly on glass or obsidian like I have with Chert. Especially, I cut myself a couple times pretty bad with Georgetown. Yeah, it's just something in the texture of the glass, and it's maybe that affects the napping. But I also see some sort of weirdness in the flaking. Ken says, interesting about the preference with clear glass. I'll still give it a go, but keep in mind that it might not be the best napping material. Yeah. Especially clear liquor bottles. I don't like those at all. Even though some of the clear liquor bottles have flat sides, which makes it easier to nap when you break it apart. Let's see. Jeremy says the best way to make friends is to be creepy. Or you can just walk around and go, hey, have you cut yourself with that yet? Or you go, hey, did you get that at a rock shop? Where did mineral shop? Did you go to a mineral show to get that? And ask dumb questions. And then see what happens. Hey, I heard that you can get a flint stretcher. Any you guys have a flint stretcher? Because I got 6-inch pieces of flint and I need 8 inches. Any of you guys got a flint stretcher? Just ask questions like that. I heard Jack Crafty says he had a flint stretcher. Where am I on the chat? I'm not supposed to be looking at the chat. Brennan says, hey, Pat, I just sent you an email with a few pictures of my latest Laurel Chert heat treat. Check them out. I'm going to nap. I want to nap this stuff from Parker Southgate. Ken says, I have PTSD. I empathize with sensory sensitivities. Oh, there you go. Somebody is empathizing. I'm not totally alone. Ralph says, Dongala shirt or Sonora shirt, all these shirts are native to where turkey tail points were made. Any other material would be a fake point. Yes, yes. Brenna says, meaning to show you some really interesting material. It has brown to rose coloring. Nap, brother, no rush. On your own time. Yeah. I'm gonna start napping this. Okay, I get a new bopper from Mike Tufts. Excellent. I think it's a 9-ounce, which is my favorite size. In case you want to know. Again, I forgot to bring my scale, but Mike sent me 2. And no, it's not brass, although, I will start napping with brass eventually. These are both copper, brand new, that Mike Tufts sent me. And this cap is from China, so that's probably why it looks like brass and not copper. Right? Right. Nothing against China. It's just they use different manufacturing methods, I suppose. Here we go. Just little by little. I don't want to do too much yet. I don't want to hit it too hard yet. Just trying to get used to it, little by little. All right. I think I can knock off a big chunk. All right. So here goes. Did it do it? Yay, it did it. Okay, wait. I need to do the flake flick, right? Flake flick? What is that? Flake flick. Except I don't do it as good as the Flintknapping influencers on YouTube. There it goes. I like to do the voila. Voila. Yeah. What is the voila? Don't worry about it. You need to watch my videos. Yeah. Can you see the angle? Jim, super chat $5. Speaking from personal experience on the sensory disorders, I'm an autistic too and get the same type of icks when touching certain materials like foam. There you go. We are all in the same boat. Awesome. Anyone else in the same boat? I have a feeling a lot of us are in the same boat. The ick is a good word. I forgot about that. Yeah. You get the ick. But for me, it's like, it's just some weird thing that happens with my teeth. Like when you touch a battery to your tongue, it's just the same thing happens with certain things that cause a sensory reaction. I also get a sensory reaction to bright lights. It's like instant bad mood. Yeah. Some people, when they go to the beach and it's nice and sunny, they get all happy. Me, it's torture. It's like, get me out of here. Even with sunglasses on, I don't enjoy the beach. Yeah. If it's overcast, yeah, I'm fine at the beach. Yeah. As long as it has something interesting to do, I'll build sandcastles. I don't like sitting there drinking whatever. Except water. I'll drink water or tea at the beach. Just relax. Yeah. But usually the kids, they used to say, come on, Dad. Look at it. Look at the waves. Look at it. And I can see they're in the water. I can see little fish. Come on, Dad. And here I am sitting with long shorts as long as possible and a shirt on. I'm going, no, I'm good. I got my sunglasses that are so dark that I look like a blind man, right? and I'm sipping tea with, make sure I have lots of ice, like 90% ice and 10% tea. Yeah, and I'm under the umbrella or whatever. Yeah, don't expect me to sit out in the sun and get a tan. Mm-mm. It's a little bit of a torture, but I didn't tell that to my kids. I just said I just don't like it. But now, and besides, at that time, I didn't know about autism, and I didn't know about ADHD, or what they call ADHD now, the combination, the comorbidities of autism and ADHD together. And people would say, when I first started talking about autism, people would say, I don't see it. Because I would talk to my friends and family about it. And then I talked to my sister about it. And they kind of look at me like, maybe. But yeah, I could tell, because one of the things that causes me the greatest amount of mental distress or anxiety is autism moments in my past where I was totally clueless, and I said something or did something that was off, and I have memories of that, or I understood something completely different than what the reality was, and I have these cringe moments where I have these flashbacks to these autism moments. And I finally figured out what the problem was. Is that with autism you are clueless on things that normal people aren't clueless about, and you end up masking. So you end up acting like you think you should be acting, but if you get it wrong, people look at you like, "What is going on here? What in the wide world of autism is going on here?" Yeah. And I didn't detect it for years and years and years because my ex-wife has ADHD and probably a little bit of autism too. So it's like normal. And the kids have it too now, right? So we're all just clueless. For a long time, I feel sorry for the kids, because with the parents don't know what autism is, and it's on a spectrum. Some children have it really bad and some don't. You can have mild forms and you can have severe forms, and we didn't know any of that stuff. But yeah, autism is on a spectrum. I wish we would have known this stuff. Yeah, it should be like taught to every parent, or it should be like in a home ec class, except for parenting. Parenting 101. The first lesson is some kids have neurodivergence, and that comes in different flavors. Really? Yeah. Oh, that would have been so good to know. Did I overshoot? Oh, I almost did. Yeah, I did a little bit. I overshot. See that? It took off some of the edge. But it was still a good flake. So what am I doing? I'm just bifacing this. Yeah, it's from Parker. Hopefully he's watching, or he'll watch this eventually. I'm finally getting around to napping his material, and it's actually pretty good. See it? I think it looks, someone can help me out. Is that Cobden or Fort Payne? It reminds me of Fort Payne. It also reminds me of Hornstone. It's nice and waxy, although you can't see it. You can kind of see it's kind of waxy. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, there he is. Anyways, let's get back to the chat for a second here. Ralph says, I'm sorry, but ventriloquist dummies freak me out bad. Can't even stand being in a room with them. I don't mean to laugh, but that is funny. You mean you don't like Jeff Dunham? with his ventriloquist act, Ahmed the dead terrorist, and that kind of thing. Yeah, when I grow up, I want to be Jeff Dunham. Yeah, I watch his videos all the time. I'm glad that the ventriloquist dummies don't give me the creeps. Let's see here. Jim says I'm also very light sensitive. Have to wear sunglasses just about everywhere I go. You'd enjoy Pacific Northwest beaches, Patrick. Lots to do, rocks and huge trees. Some of the best beach combing in the world. Lots of shade. Oh, that sounds pretty good. Anthony says I can't touch cotton like cotton balls after I've washed my hands. Oh dang. Uh, let's see. Yeah, I can't read everything here. I'm looking for some questions. If you have a question, please ask. But put the word question in your question so I can see. Yeah, the super chats are good today. I think foam is a trigger for a lot of uh, autistic sensitivity types. Yeah, people here in the chat, I bet you a lot of us have that sensitivity stuff. Ken says, my best friend from childhood has Asperger's, so I know a bit about his experiences. There you go. Ed Gould says, bad fats make me gag. What's a bad fat? Spoiled? It makes anybody gag. Let's see here. I'm gonna skip over some of this stuff here. Looking for questions. Okay, I'm gonna get back to the napping here. Ken says, I have ADHD. I was never formally diagnosed because they couldn't discern it from my PTSD. I see. See, we had one of my sons went through the full battery of tests for autism and ADHD. He has both, right? We did that so that he could get some accommodations at school because he was having anxiety attacks. Now I have two sons and they're twins, but they have a little bit of a different expressions on their autism and ADHD. One of my sons was having literal panic attacks at school. So we had him formally diagnosed, but that's the only one that's been formally diagnosed from my family. But I can tell that my dad had autism. I can tell that my mother had some symptoms of ADHD because of executive dysfunction, they call it now. But it's just you cannot do what you plan on doing. It's just you can plan on doing it and you know what to do and you gather up all the materials and you have the time and you just have this block about doing it, or you do it and get distracted. It's just this constant blockage to doing it, either to begin it or after you begin it, distractions or both. My mother had that. So, and now that I'm a little more educated in the subject, I can tell that all my children have it to some degree. Yeah, it's not a fun thing, but once you know it, it can help you with your workarounds. Yeah, I have a lot of workarounds for this kind of stuff. Yeah, and now that I know, I can design better workarounds. Yeah. Jeremy says, that's what's wrong with me. Yeah. Ken says, question, do you remind me asking about your heritage, Pat? No, I don't mind. I've told people my 23andMe results on my YouTube channel. My heritage is let's start with my last name is blank. My name is Patrick Blank, right? My last name is German. I'm about 20% German. I'm about same 20% Irish, and I'm about the same with Iberian or Spanish. Okay, 25, 20. Let's say 25, 25, and 25. German, Irish, Spanish. 1/8 Native American, uh, Pueblo Indian, according to the DNA on 23andMe. Pueblo Indian. And then I have a bunch of others, little percentages that add up to 100% other than that. So German, Irish, Spanish from Spain or Iberian, and Native American. Right? Yeah. But, so I'm mostly Northern European or European. Yeah. Obviously. My mom, uh, she doesn't look like she's Native American, but she's got Native American heritage. And when I was little, I spoke Spanish with my mother until I was 5 years old, until I started going to school. So I lost all the Spanish, but I can pronounce words in Spanish, but I just don't have the word knowledge, or how to create sentences and whatnot. Every time I try to learn Spanish, it gives me a headache. It's one of the few things that really bugs me as far as trying to learn a language. So I never pursued it. I can pick it up easily, but after a couple of days, it just drives me insane. Yeah, as far as Spanish goes. But hopefully, I'll find a workaround, because eventually I want to speak Spanish again, because I spoke Spanish, like I said, until I was 5 years old. Fluent Spanish, and I still have memories of it. And my mom is from Mexico, but she doesn't look like an indigenous Native American. She's from Spain. Her family roots are from Spain. Let's see. Ken says, I find people's heritage interesting. Oh, yeah, it's an interesting topic for sure. Jim says, it's primarily genetic. There are definitely things that trigger an autistic person's symptoms, like certain chemicals and food we can be sensitive to, or the opposite, have a high tolerance for it. Let's see. Ken says, thank you for sharing. I'm mixed European and Native American as well. What's called Métis, which is an indigenous people of North America. We have Cree, Ojibwa, Scottish, and French. I see. Children of the fur trade. Yes, yes. I mostly identify as Cree Métis because I speak Cree. Well, hey, awesome. Very awesome. Jordan Kirkpatrick is here. If obsidian is opaque, does that make it a dacite? Yeah, for us nappers, in my opinion, yes. But if you talk to a geologist, he hates it. Yeah. He or she says, no, that's not dacite. But if it's opaque, as nappers, we tend to think or classify it as a dacite because it naps differently. The opaque obsidian naps differently than the clear varieties. That's why we make a distinction, because of nappability. And some of it's better, some of it's worse. There's no set standard, or there's no set rule for obsidian. Yeah. Ooh, this is tough. It likes the bopper, but it doesn't like the indirect percussion flaker. I see what you're doing. It's going to make me scoop it out, Can you see the angle? Oh yeah, when you go to a Knapping, if you're brand new, ask everybody if they got an angleometer. Because you're watching videos and you can't figure out the angle, you need the angleometer. What you do is you plug it into your computer and it'll tell you the precise angles. Yeah. Really? Oh gosh. I wish people want to know the precise angles. It depends on the stone, on your skill, on your actual physical makeup, your mental processes. All of it affects the angles. So my angles are not your angles. Nobody's angles are each other's angles, okay? You got to develop your own angles. And yes, there are generalities. I can speak in generalities and give you a general idea. And I can explain it to you like you're 5 years old. So oh, I get it now. But then you start napping and you'll come back to me and fuss and say, it didn't do it. I did the same angle. I got my angleometer and I stopped the video and I got my protractor and I got the angle and it didn't do it. What's up with that? Yeah. My angles are not your angles. Okay. So leave my angles alone. I'll leave your angles alone. Yeah. That's the way it goes. That's the way it should go. Don't be messing. Yeah. You'll figure it out. You just got to keep doing it. You got to do the same thing over and over again until you get different results. And you'll figure it out. And yeah, it'll seem like insanity, but that's not the definition of insanity. Yeah. Okay, Smarty Pants, what's the definition of insanity then? What is it? What is insanity? Insanity is when you're confronted with contrary evidence, but you still double down on your original belief. Okay? You believe something or you assert something or you think something's a fact and you're confronted with evidence that says it's not true and you double down on your original opinion or thought. That's insanity. How often does that happen? A lot. Okay? If you're on social media, that's like 90% of the time. For no good reason. And if they can't double down on their previous thoughts or opinions because they would look tremendously stupid, they come up with something that's similar. Well, I didn't exactly mean that. I'm a little nuanced. They use it, nuanced. I'm nuanced. That just means you're insane still. Okay? Now, as long as the contrary evidence is credible, I mean, you have to scrutinize the evidence. As long as it's credible, you can't fight it. You can try, but that's what the insane do. They try to fight the evidence. They try to fight logic. You tell them that's a logical fallacy. I can show it to you in a book. The way you're arguing is a logical fallacy. It's right here. It's called straw man, or it's called, begging the question or something like that. It's right there. See, that's what you're arguing. So it means your argument is wrong and flawed, even though you may have the structure of it may contain components that are true. The way you're arguing it to get to the conclusion is wrong. And they'll go, no. That's insanity. Okay? If you do the same thing over and over again to get different results, it's called practice. Yeah. And when you're in Flintknapping, your whole deal for a long time is just doing it over and over and over and over, trying it again and again and again and again. And finally, you'll try to get lumps out like this. And finally, after doing it over and over and over again, you'll get a different result and take off them lumps. Yeah. What was the definition of insanity again? What was it? I missed it. I know you missed it because you didn't want to hear it. Yep, I know. I know how it goes. And what's funny is sometimes I'll say, stop listening with your eyes and stop seeing things with your ears. You know, if people are starting to get on my nerves in the comment sections or whatever on some of my videos, stop listening with your eyes. And they go, what the heck does that mean? If you're listening with your eyes, that means you're not going to see it unless you like what you hear. Okay? Or the other way, you're not going to see it. You're not going to hear it unless you like what you see. Maybe that's the way it is. If you're listening with your eyes, you're not going to like what you see. You're not going to listen if you don't like what you see. Okay? I'm trying to get the logic right here. But I think you can get what I mean. You don't listen with your eyes and you don't see with your ears. Okay? You hear with your ears. So what you're hearing, absorb it as what you're hearing. And then what you're seeing, absorb it as what you're seeing. Some people, they don't see it unless they like what they hear. And some people can't hear it unless they like what they see. Okay? That's another version of insanity. And it happens a lot, especially online. And just yesterday, I was watching somebody, and they actually admitted that they spend every waking moment online. As soon as they wake up, they get on the computer. They eat while on the computer. They bring their phone or whatever to the bathroom. They'll go drive around in their car. They'll have something on in the background while they're driving. They're on the internet every waking moment. And they admitted it on, and, some of them are software developers. Okay, I get it. You got to be online constantly for some of those jobs. Even when you get home. Yeah, because you're working on the side too. You got projects you're working on the side. All right, fine. But there are many people that are not software developers or web developers or researchers in this kind of thing. And they're just online constantly. And you can kind of tell when you encounter someone like that online because they start talking like the internet. I don't know how to explain it, but they start talking like the internet. And when you ask them about Flintknapping, you're going to get the internet answer on Flintknapping. What are some of the internet answers concerning Flintknapping? Well, one of them, I just got a friend of mine just sent me a question that was answered, I think, by AI. Why are early points like paleo types made with a higher level of skill than later types? Why is that? And the internet answer is, well, there's various factors. They had to be more reliant on their tools, as far as stone tools for their hunting techniques, and they had to have greater skill because of this and this and this and this, and they come up with thought experiments to justify why the earlier points were better in quality. Okay, the truth is, earlier points were not better in quality. No, the 1% of the 1% of any time period is going to look absolutely beautiful. Okay, Why do the 1% of the 1% of the paleos get exposed all the time? I don't know. There's something in the internet culture that likes paleo stuff. So you'll get inundated with a lot of high grade, beautiful paleo objects, and you're thinking to yourself, I'm not seeing that beautiful stuff over in the archaic and the new woodland stuff. I'm seeing it in a paleo. So they must have had way better skill. And then we can come up with thought experiments as to why. And the internet's excellent at thought experiments. Yeah. Are they correct? No. There are a lot of paleo types that look extremely well made, but those, I'm finding out, require more time, more energy, and more material. Okay? It's a different mindset. And yeah, you can achieve really good results with more time, more practice, more energy, more force, especially in pressure flaking, and yada, yada, yada. It requires more of everything to produce those beautiful paleo points. Whereas in later times, you don't see it as often. And it's probably because, logically, they got more efficient at knapping over time. And it's not always the case. If you look at the majority of paleo stuff, it looks rather crude. Okay? If you look at the 1% of the 1% of the paleo stuff, you'd think it's like made by aliens. But that's the same in all time periods. Okay, so the moral of the story is it didn't take more skill, and they were not better nappers in the paleo era. They just had a different mindset where they didn't mind spending more time, devoting more of their lives to it, using a greater amount of material because there were lots of failures. And they just, I suppose, had a culture that promoted that sort of thing. Okay? The skills are the same. It's just that I think maybe you could explain it by culture. That, especially with the parallel flaking, the collateral flaking, the beautiful flaking that people are excited about in paleo times. It was a cultural thing or something external, and not due to hunting or anything like that. Because you can hunt the same animal with various points. It's been proven over time. The buffalo or bison hunters didn't always use the same type of point throughout history. The points actually varied quite a bit, as an example. So it wasn't what they were hunting. It wasn't even the availability of the game. It was in the mindset that they didn't mind spending more time, energy, and material on what they were doing. And you can come up with that just by using logical arguments and by experimental archaeology. How long does it actually take to make an Eden point compared to a agate basin? Are they the same amount of time? No. Edens take longer because you have to set up the preform for the final flaking. You can't just go straight into it because if there's obstacles in your way, you can't get regular flaking. And how do I know this? Is because, for one, modern nappers called fog nappers, flake over grind, they make the preforms perfect so that they can achieve regular, sequential, same old flaking each time. But they prepare their surfaces and their preforms in a way that's almost perfect. Okay. And you have to do the same thing with napping. You can nap a very regular, almost perfect preform, but it takes a long time. And then you can get the final flaking done. Okay. Reliably. Now, can you get this type of parallel flaking, collateral flaking, and a beautiful oblique flaking with a rough contoured surface like this, I suppose it's possible with a lot of luck, because there's a lot of obstacles. Yeah. And, you know, there's some things are not physically possible in all cases. You're going to have to depend on some luck. It's almost impossible to predict some of these flakes unless the surface is perfect or near perfect. Then you can predict it to a high degree. But if the surface is not, the less perfect the surface, the less you're able to predict the flake path. It's just physics. All right. I got 8 minutes left. What am I going to do? Am I going to finish this? Let me just take a couple more flakes off of this, and then I'll get back to the chat. Yeah. Let me just take a few more flakes off of this. It's actually a pretty good material. It does get a little bit steppy, mainly because I'm not being careful. If you're not careful with this stuff, it'll show your bad technique. I was using bad technique to skim off flakes on that side, so it got all steppy. So I've got to prepare it a little bit better. Hold on. Which means I need to abrade it more in this case. I wasn't abrading it very well before, and I was getting some crushing and incomplete or insufficient force behind these flakes, so they were stopping too soon. So let me do it better. Make sure this edge is a little stronger. Yeah, strengthening the edge solves a lot of problems in many cases. Yes. Especially if the rock is a little bit tough. That didn't work. I could have abraded even more. There it is. Well, I hit it too hard. See, when I hit it too hard, I take a bite out of it. Can you see the bite? No? See that? I hit it really hard twice. Yeah, there, you can see it there. I took a couple of bites out. Move, yeah, this way. You can see the bite right there. Move the other way. Other way. Other way. And then there's another bite right here. 1, 2. But what can you do? I got to take off those big flakes. I'll figure out what I'm going to do with the edge repair later. Yeah, like that. Yeah, like that. Yes, yes. Oh, I was looking on a website that was not a website. What was I looking at that showed some responses on Reddit as far as Flintknapping on Reddit? I hate Reddit, except this wasn't bad. The Flintknapping on Reddit isn't bad. I was doing a search this morning for something, and there was some Reddit answers that were pretty good. But yeah, I used to get on Reddit back in the day and argue with people, but it turned out over time that the only people that survived on Reddit were the most crazy ones, or they lingered there until everyone else left, and then they took over. So now you got a bunch of crazies, except in the Flintknapping. It seems like there was some good information there. Oh yeah, I was looking up nap-ins because I'm updating my nap-in list. If I go over the time today, I'm just going to keep going. I might go 10 minutes over because I'm trying to get this thin down. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to get serious here for a second. Not like that. I can't see. Got this light in my face. Yeah. Can you see? I don't care. I do care, but I gotta give my eyes a rest. Okay. Did it do it? Yeah. It tried to do it. Yeah, I'm having to abrade quite a bit during the thinning stage. The edge crushes a lot. It doesn't want to support the flakes that I need. That better? That's a little bit better. Yeah. But as it gets thin, it's starting to get finicky. Story of everybody's life. Story of my life. As it gets thinner, it doesn't want to stay smooth. It wants to get all steppy. It's kind of doing it. I think I can thin it down, but I'm just going to stop before I break it. So I'm at the point where every hit that I make is it risks breaking it. Okay, let's see if we can get some flake scar action going on here. I was trying to get rid of all the step fracturing, and that last flake right here, you can kind of tell, took away a lot of it, but it didn't go far enough to take away that chatter. I was trying to remove that chatter from this edge, and it wasn't working out all that great. And it may be because it's inconsistent, or it could be because I'm just not abrading as carefully as I should be for this kind of material. There are various things that can go wrong. It's hard to pinpoint what it is unless you've done a lot of this type of stone. It's napping really well, actually. I think I'm trying to rush it. Yeah. Anyway, I like it. Yeah, it's working out well. So Parker Southgate, thank you very much for sending this. I like it. I'll be able to nap this into a nice little arrowhead. These are kind of small, but I did get some semi-sweet flakes. Maybe not that ones. These are all kind of tiny. That's about the biggest I would use. I mean, that's about the smallest I would use. What is the size? 1.5 inches long. Yeah. That's about the smallest. Anything smaller than that, I usually just throw out as crud flakes. Crud flakes. These are all crud flakes. Okay. All right, let's get back to the chat. Shall we? It's 4:00. Let's try to wrap this up. What do we got? I'm a little afraid to look. Maybe we got some hurt feelings. What are you supposed to do when you got hurt feelings? Make yourself a little crybaby sandwich. Makes you feel better. Put a lot of mayo on it. All right, here we go. Let's see. Okay, so let's see. Jim says, it sounds really similar to the material I sent Patrick. You should try it. Okay, so you guys are talking to each other, which is excellent. Let me see if I missed the question in here. I'm going back. Alan asked the question, has Mike Tufts invented a teleporter yet? He doesn't need to. Yeah. He's already got it up here. Let's see. I'm trying to go back in the chat here. Oh, this is. It didn't do it. Yeah. Hey, Eric Blanco is here. Eric Blanco E25. Hello, hello. I missed your entrance. I was talking about something you asked me about, though. Grok knows the angles? Yeah, maybe. Maybe ask Grok if it can perform the tasks of an angleometer during a Flintknapping video. Hey, Grok, are you an angleometer? Can you angleometerize his video for me so I can get the angle? Please, Grok. Please angleomerize. Let's see. All right, so I don't see many questions. Uri says, for me, corporate culture often also feels like insanity when people say things which are not true. Oh, yeah. Corporate culture or groupthink. Yeah. But some of them, they know they're not supposed to say. They know they're not supposed to do things in a certain way, but they have to. Yeah. To make a living. Same with influencers on social media. They know that they're on dicey ground and they're not using logical arguments, but the money keeps coming in. Yeah. Because people go, whoa, he's saying what I agree with. Subscribe. He's showing me contrary evidence to what I believe in. Unsubscribe. I don't like contrary evidence. Yeah. I don't have enough crybaby sandwiches for that. Let's see. Brennan says, I have a friend that works from home helping older people fix their internet routers and such. And he also games online, and he literally spends every waking minute. Not good for his mental or physical. Yeah. And I was looking at that the other day. What I do is I look at, or I research ADHD and depression. Those are my two major hangups: ADHD and depression, and they go together because you can spiral. Okay, so I found myself spiraling. That SpongeBob would say, spiraling. But yeah, it's actually a thing. It gets worse and worse and worse. You can't climb out of it until you know what's going on, and you're able to do some workarounds. But yeah, I had to bounce off the bottom in order to get out of it. But anyway, I do a lot of looking around for what is ADHD and what is depression and what causes this and that, and also how to think critically and how to sort through the junk online. Because believe it or not, what else do we have for most of our information except online stuff? And especially news, what's going on. And if you're doing research like in archaeology or for Flintknapping, you're going to have to rely on online sources and stuff. A lot of it, especially if you ask it in general, AI will give you answers that people have been spamming online for decades. It's incorrect. And AI doesn't care. It just picks up what is mostly on the internet. Okay. What material is he knapping? It's chert. It's not flint, because I think it forms within limestone. This Cobden stuff or this Fort Payne stuff. But I also think that it is nature's heat treat, or it could be, heated underground under pressure, because at a certain depth it starts to heat up, right? If the rocks are deep enough underground, they actually experience some heat if there's enough pressure, and it does alter the stone. It can do a natural heat treat on it. Now I don't know. I know hornstone is that way. Hornstone is a natural heat treat, nature's heat treat. It might apply to this as well. But I'm not an expert, of course. And I don't claim to be an expert on stone. I just know if it naps or not. Okay. I keep trying to say that over and over and over again. And I am kidding in many cases, but in some cases I'm not kidding. I really don't care what it's called as long as it can nap. Yeah. Fort Payne, sure, but not sure for Patrick when he started napping. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I could look it up. Perker Southgate sent me a bunch of emails. It could be Cobden, right? Cobden. Cobden. Mary asks, question, how important is convexity when napping, or is that stone dependent? Convexity is extremely important. It's like a 9 on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being most important. Convexity is extremely important because most people want smooth flakes. Now, if you don't care about the step fracturing and that kind of stuff, then it can be flat or even concave. And if you don't care about step fracturing, yeah, it doesn't matter. But most people want smooth surfaces and you need convexity. And if you want nice fancy flaking, you need convexity. Now, some people say, no, because some slabs are flat, and I've seen the slabbers do the flaking on the flat. Yeah, okay. But what are they flaking on? It's mainly obsidian or glass, something very easy to nap. And they don't make these slabs very wide because they know if they make the slab flat and wide, it's going to stop before it gets to the middle. Whereas if they were to make it thicker and more convex, they could run those flakes longer. But they don't want to make the slabs thicker because they can get more material or more slabs from the material if they make the slabs thinner. But in order to flake well, you've got to make them narrow as well. So you'll see a lot of narrow, thin slabs, and you can nap on flat in that case, but it doesn't go very far. Okay. So if you want your flakes to travel far and smoothly, convexity is extremely important. It's like a 9 out of 10. Okay. If you don't care about step fractures, then convexity is about a 5. Let's see. In my opinion, everything is my opinion on this channel. Yes, yes. I don't claim to be an expert, and if you like criticizing what I say, good for you. Do it with everybody. Yeah, get into the habit. Ken says, question, I have some obsidian that is very wavy when flaked, and some areas that are just atrociously step fractured. It takes some thinking of how to proceed. Is this a common obsidian experience? Yeah, especially as the flakes get really thin. Okay. I've noticed some guys have sent me their attempts at napping slabs and said, can you do anything with it, please? And the first thing I do after looking at all their step fractures and all their wavy flakes and all their flakeriness, I call it flakery because there's like, where I would take 3 flakes, they've taken 15 flakes. It's very flakery. So they send me these slabs, and the first thing I do is make it more narrow and beef up the edge, make the edge thicker, and then take bold flakes off like this. Okay. These bowl flakes are thicker and they don't produce as much waviness and they don't step fracture as easy when they're thicker. Okay. That's one of the reasons why you see a lot of waviness and step fracturing, incomplete flakes, and even diving flakes because they're very thin. Okay. How does a thin flake produce a diving flake? Well, it wants it wants a lot of convexity in order to stay together. Thin flakes, a curved thin flake is stronger than a straight thin flake. Okay, so it wants to, it doesn't want to, right? I'm just saying what happens is it'll try to be convex to stay together, but it ends up diving. Okay, so hopefully that answered that question. Thin flakes are the problem when you have a slab of obsidian or any kind of obsidian preform. If you're trying to take off really thin flakes, unless the obsidian is a very high grade, those flakes are not going to travel very well. They might travel, but you're going to get waviness, you're going to get scoop outs, you're going to get step fractures. Okay? That kind of thing. Some people like the waviness, so especially the flake over grind guys, they got it down to a science where they know just how much to grind, how much convexity, and how much to prepare the edge. You know, the width of the edge, even the angle of the edge. They might not do it straight. They might produce an angle this way first, and then do their flaking, and then grind the angle the other way, and then do their flaking on the other side. You know, they get very technical about the whole thing. Let's see. Scott Lauer says, I'm stumped about that question too. Yeah. My advice is if you're getting lots of step fractures and waviness is just try to take big flakes with a thicker preform. Bigger flakes with a thicker preform will solve a lot of those issues, except for the issue of it's so thick it makes me want to hurl. I hate it. I hate thick. If you have that issue, I don't know what to tell you. Let's see. Where am I? I'm going to try to wrap this up, okay, guys? Let's see. Jesse says, Patrick, I'm envious of your Snaketown or Hohokam Point reproductions. Yours are dead on from the points found near the Gila River in Arizona. So cool. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. It takes, I don't know. I don't have fun napping those. It takes a lot of patience. So, but thank you very much for letting me know. Hey, Red Eyed Patriots here at 4:11. It's already 11 minutes past the time it's supposed to be ended. Michael? Let's see. Mm-hmm. And my battery in my computer's dying. Yeah. Energy saver is on. Jim says, Patrick missed my super chat. Oh, dang. Let's look. $5 super chat from Jim. Thank you. Thank you. It says, I struggle with mental health every day, still in the downward spiral. It's the main reason I can't easily get ruck or go to nap-ins because I can't travel. Oh, I didn't know that. Wow, that is an issue. I see. Yeah. When I changed my diet, that helped me a lot. Maybe that could be it too. Yeah. Gut health, your gut health can equate to lots of mental health. So a good, healthy gut and digestion increases your health of your brain. And I have experience with that too. I mean, it helped me get out of depression. I was not eating properly at all. Okay, I'm going to end the stream here. Thank you everybody for participating. It's good to see everybody. Let's see. Okay, good. I'm glad everyone had a good time. Yeah, cool. So what I'll be doing, the next live stream is Friday night, 8 to 10 p.m. I think it's the 4th of July, right? I'm going to be doing a live stream from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, right? 8 to 10 p.m. Yeah. And the first hour, I'm going to be focusing on the chat. And then the next 45 minutes, I'll be napping. And then I'll try to wrap up in the last 15 minutes. But in this case, I'm wrapping up 15 minutes after the supposed ending of the live stream. But yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much. Next live stream, Friday night. Take notes, ask questions, or write down your questions so you can ask and see what happens. See if I can answer them or not. I'll try to answer them, but you may not like the answer sometimes. But for me, that just makes it more fun. Yeah. Okay, Jim says, feel free to give my email to whomever I want, whoever wants it. Okay, I do have that note, right? Yeah, I have permission to give Jim's email out. Mike Tuff says, everyone take care. See you Friday. Patrick, your package should be arriving soon if Alan's is coming tomorrow. All right. Very good. All right, guys. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Have a good night. Bye-bye.